ask this. I got a fashion or fandom question from my man Cardale.
We got Cardale. Let's go.
Fashion or fandom with the Yankee hat?
Oh man, a little bit of both, and I'm so sorry I had to jump on the Cleveland show, being a native and rocking my Yankees hat. But I just appreciate great ball, man. I'm a Cleveland, Yankees, and Dodgers fan. I'm sorry, I'm not a bandwagon guy. I grew up like that, and it's heartbreaking because in the playoffs I just get hammered because they all usually cancel themselves out. But you would think with me being such a fan of three great organizations, I would have more success in the World Series, but I don't. So.
Sound like a sellout to me.
Yeah, whatever.
Cardale, man, people in the chat saying that you look like a young 50 Cent. That's what they say.
He does.
You got the 50 right there.
What's up? Yeah.
Hey, with inflation,
Yeah,
he's
what's
75
up?
cents.
You net? Yeah.
Cardale,
Act right.
Cardale, obviously.
I'm like this the whole show now.
He's 75 cents.
Something wrong with it.
And Cardale, here's the important question. So we were talking before about how LeBron is the most hyped athlete coming out of high school in the history, and I'm 50, Jay's at late 50s. He's the most hyped athlete, and he lived up to it and more. And Tyvus said, "What about me? Does Tyvus have the biggest ego you have ever met in your entire life?"
GOAT.
By far. And I've been around some egotistic guys, but Tyvus, just like he couldn't let go that L he just got in a little true and false game, man.
I didn't lose.
Ego is. I don't even understand how you guys are doing this show under a roof right now. This
I know
show
it's
should
tough.
be outside
Listen.
to let his ego breathe. Man.
I didn't lose the game. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know you didn't. You actually were right.
Are you going on the Buckeye Cruise, by the way?
I am. First time in a couple of years, so excited. I know they have a new format when they come to the ship and then some of the new destinations. So pretty excited, not just for a mini vacation, but to interact with the people who supported me and Tyvus and, over our careers at the Buckeyes and pretty much even past that. So it's always a good time. And I'm pretty sure Tyvus had told you guys a lot about the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. Lisa, Chris, Kyle, Kim, Nikki, they do an unbelievable job, and all the volunteers of making it a great experience, not just for the current players, former players, now current players as well, but all the cancer survivors and the people who support it.
It is a great cause. What do you think about Glenville and Teddy finally getting that state championship, that elusive state championship here in Ohio?
It's exciting. I'm happy for those guys. My nephew's the running back there, Cardale Jones. And, the last time I've been to the Hall of Fame field was actually my junior year when I lost in a state championship game. So going back to see them finally cap it off was a definitely a lifetime experience that I will always cherish. And to see him in that moment and to perform at a high level, I just told him, hey, make sure the outcome is different. Make sure the outcome that night is different from what was it, 12 years ago when I was there. So they capped it off. Shouts out to Coach Gann in Glenville. They did something unbelievable, and it was just a great feeling, not just for myself but our community to that really say Glenville football is back.
Cardale, I've always, I've watched your career. I grew up in Canton and went to McKinley. I've always watched your career. And, I even told Tyvus this. I said, man, we get on more. I definitely asked him this question. For me, you had one of the greatest 3-game stretches I've ever seen in my life. I mean, to be honest with you, man. And then you were in a predicament, in a position where it's like, okay, you got 3 quarterbacks on the roster, right? It's you, Braxton Miller, and what's his name? JT Barrett. And you came back for another year. How hard was it of a decision to make that decision to come back to Ohio State after your stock and your name blew up? Was that a tough decision for you?
You know what? Not necessarily. I think everything was happening so fast during that time period. People got to understand that was the first year of the college football playoffs, which extended the season and pushed the season back almost 2 weeks. So with that being said, the national championship game was usually played, I think, like on the first or the second Monday of the year with the BCS era. And then guys after that had a solid 2.5 weeks or whatever it was to declare for the NFL draft. So now you get a chance to put your name out there and get some fillers, to really decompress and think about, the next steps in your career. Well, I had 2 days. So coming off the high of a national championship game and the high of everything that was happening with the college football playoffs and all the hype and all of this stuff, I didn't even have a time to even think about it. And only a few people noticed, and I guess I'm making it public now. I didn't even really sleep for about, probably in that week and a half, probably a couple days before the game until, the following week after the game, I probably had a rough 6-7 hours of sleep.
Wow. Jeez.
So just being on that emotional roller coaster of, okay, well, I didn't even have time to think about that. And then when I try to think about it, some rumors had came about when, some coaches have said some negative things about me in the press or to NFL scouts when it came to, hey, why does this guy haven't started this whole time? This team looked completely different without this guy. So I personally believe that would have hurt my stock as much as anything that I done in those 3 games.
Wow.
How did you, the next year, obviously, and how did you feel like that whole situation was handled? Whether it was how Urban Meyer handled it, how you as a player handled it, how stressful was it that next year? Thinking back, what do you think about how it was handled and what could have been done differently by Urban, by you, by anybody?
I think as a player, you always have a chance to reflect and say what you could have done different, what if you was in that situation again, and how would you go about certain things. But yeah, I think stressful was the least of the, that's a nice way to put it, because of the inconsistency, not just with myself, but the play calling. And this is not clearly to throw anyone under the bus, because I'm on, I had talk with the people who was all in those situations, from Coach Meyer to Coach Warner to Coach Tim Beck, who was my quarterback coach, to JT, to Braxton. So this is not to throw anyone under the bus, but that 2015 season, they never allow us as players on the offensive side of the ball to feel comfortable with the play calling or within our position. We had so many playmakers, and we knew it's only one football, right? So what I think our coaches was doing was trying to keep everybody happy, when we never had that mentality. We had, okay, hey, we understand some games we might have to run the ball 42 times a game and throw it 10 times, but we got to win the game. And, Zeke got to swallow that pill if we got to throw the ball 42 times a game, even when we run it 10 times. Everyone understood that. And you had the emergence of Curtis Samuel. You had Jalen Marshall. You had Dontre Wilson. You had Zeke in the backfield. You had all these guys on the outside, and there's only one football, let alone you got 2 quarterbacks that are proven to be capable enough to win you some football games. So I think, and that's the prime example of out-coaching yourself. I think that's what we did from week in to week out basis. You look at, after we played the Virginia Tech game, which primarily I was the starting quarterback, and JT got in doing some mop-up duty, and he did some great things. But then they tried to run a 2-quarterback system, which we all was against. Me and JT were so different when it came to the quarterback position, trying to get our offense tailored to both of our playing styles during one game plan. You get the results that you got. Mediocre performance. I'm not just by myself, but him as well. And I can remember during that season, week in and week out, calling Coach Herman, because he had just left to take the head coaching job at Houston, who was our offensive coordinator the year before, and the quarterback coach who led us to the national championship game. Just venting my frustrations, like, man, they're trying to let us start the game off, and then when we get past the 40, put JT in and do all this other stuff, then we do this. And it was just so frustrating that, and he even said, he's like, yeah, both of you guys playing like crap. JT was potentially, JT was potentially going to win the Heisman the year before if he didn't get hurt. And for him to play the way he did as well the following year in this 2-quarterback system, or trying to rotate us during certain times, we both looked like crap until, Coach Meyer finally made the decision to bench me and start him, the rest of after the Penn State game that year. Ironically, I was just talking about that yesterday. And then now him having that comfortability and that saying, hey, I'm the guy no matter what, which you want your quarterback to have that comfortability level. He started to excel in his play.
Well, I'll let you know that from a defensive standpoint in 2015, we hated y'all. Y'all were terrible. With that being said,
I agree.
I
agree.
What is you into now? Apparently you signed to start playing football again. Let us know about that. How did that decision come? Because we know you went to the NFL, went to the XFL, spent a little bit of time in the CFL, and now you're going off to another league. So tell us about that.
Yeah, indoor football league is another form of arena. I know, and I just actually heard official arena football league is coming back this year as well. Well, next year I think. But yeah, so I'm up in Boston, Massachusetts here in the beginning of March and starting the season with the Massachusetts Pirates. Like I'm excited about. The game is different. Clearly, the field is a lot shorter. I think it's 50 yards. I'm still getting adjusted to some of the rules and things like that. But looking forward to the opportunity and going out there and being in a team atmosphere and slinging the ball around. I got to be careful because the field's only 50 yards deep from end zone.
Oh, we lost him. Yeah, he just wrist
He come
flick
to
it, and
call.
it would go from one end zone to the other.
Right. Pretty much.
Yeah, I pretty much can sneeze. The ball would probably be through the uprights. But yeah, but excited for the opportunity. And also I just saw, they picked up another Buckeye, Brandon White, who played, I think played 3 years at the Buckeyes and spent his last year or two at Rutgers, I want to believe. And so I'm excited for that. Always good to have Buckeyes in the locker room. So, we'll see what the opportunity leads to, but it's an opportunity to get back, doing something I love to do and hopefully scoring a lot of points.
All right, what about the Buckeyes at NIL? They going to offer kids $13 million?
Let's go.
If they do that, I might have to go and exhaust my 5th-year option, my 5th-year eligibility if they doing stuff like that. But yeah, man, I think the NIL world, man, is forever changing, and I think some of the things that Ohio State is trying to do when it comes to in-house and outside sources, like the collective, me and my buddy Brian Schottenstein started the foundation, is trying to provide great opportunities for the Buckeyes, trying to help them any way we can, and continue to recruit and play our part in attracting quality student athletes.
Cardale, there's a lot that the average fan probably doesn't know in terms of how this NIL deal works. Explain exactly what it is that you and Schottenstein, it almost is like a clearinghouse. How does this work? This doling out of money? Is the coaching staff involved? Is the university involved? How does it all play out?
So, no, the coaching staff and university is involved. So we would love to be more interactive with the university on the side of things at NIL, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for them. But for whatever reason, Ohio State isn't as supportive we would like them to be when it comes to not just us as an entity, but us to help raise funds to ultimately provide NIL opportunities for your players to continue to help your coaches make millions of dollars a year. I don't understand how they not as supportive and want to drag their feet on things like that. It's mind-blowing.
Down on that. Why would they not be supportive? You guys are the checkbook. Is there is there friction between the two entities?
I wouldn't say friction. I just think that more things that they could be doing. Of recent, you see a school like Alabama pour so many resources into their NIL. You see Nick Saban jumping on the video, their AD on the video. You got players on the video talking about their collective, donate and support their collective, how it helps Alabama, how it's going to continue to help them stay competitive in the recruiting world and provide much needed opportunities for the student athletes. And this is the coach, this is the AD, this is the face of the university. Wow. Going out and publicly saying, "Hey, get behind this because this helps us." And I can only imagine what a 30-minute out of a 30-minute day for the higher ups of Ohio State, if it's coaches, if it's ADs, if it's whoever, to make a clip like that or to support us publicly like that, what that can do not just for us but ultimately for them. And for whatever reason, we don't have that support. It's above my pay grade, and I'm just going to continue to. Yeah, I'm just going to continue. We're going to continue to do what we can, and thankful for everybody who supported us through this time with the foundation and all our supporters and donors and everyone, and knowing that all of this is for the student athletes at Ohio State.
As a fan, it's frustrating. Where does Ohio State stand in terms of money raised? Like, how does Ohio State's NIL pool compared to Alabama and Texas, which I know
should be
Texas
as high as
A&M.
any of them.
You would think that it would be as high as
when
any
you think
of
yeah, when you think of an NIL pool, I would compare those to the collectives, right? I would say, okay, but you look at the Texas collectives, you look at the, other school collectives, they're using the school trademarks, they're on the school's websites. The schools are publicly endorsing these people, publicly endorsing these entities because they know that this is what the fans want to see. They know that ultimately it's going to help their programs stay competitive.
That's
And
disappointing that
like I
Ohio
said
State's
before,
not doing that.
well, I mean, you think it's disappointing as a fan, but how do you think I feel as a former player?
Sure.
Yeah.
So a former player as a supporter that, and then another thing about this, this is not my job. Like, we created this, me or him, no one on our staff, which we don't really even have, takes a salary. We have very minimum overhead because, a lot of my time is spent on the phone educating and talking to recruits and talking to families and letting them know about NIL, let them know about everything Ohio State has to offer outside of the Woody Hayes facility. Clearly, I can't talk about that stuff. They know they're going to get great training and things like that with Coach Mick and great coaching by Coach Day and those guys. But, our role is to try to fill in those gaps of where other schools are being competitive, and that's in the NIL world. So with all that being said, it would have definitely helped if we had more publicly support and proactive things from the university. But from my experience with it so far, we had the coaches, Coach Day, Coach Holtman at our events last year, and I mean they're clearly all above it. I mean all for it because clearly it helps them continue to make a lot of money a year and continue to recruit and have great student athletes. But wherever that decision is coming from that's dragging their feet on, not supporting us or not doing some of the things that's allowed by the NCAA, that's above my pay grade, and I would imagine it's above their pay grade as well.
Well, I'll tell you this, Cardale. I'm a straight shooter. Everybody asks, well, why is this not going on? I don't understand it. Cardale, why would they not? Well, they're not involved because they cashing checks and they millionaires. Why would I want to give you some money when I'm going to get my money regardless?
Well, if you want to keep getting that money, you better spend it.
I think they shot themselves in the foot with the football program this past year that they released that they made over $60 million, something like that, or revenue, or something crazy like that. But yet, you're going to fans to tell them that you need money for your players.
So they doing GoFundMes now. They going to GoFundMe, Cash App game.
Well, they not even doing GoFundMes. They're just like, hey, yeah, you're publicly saying, hey, we need X amount of dollars in NIL space, but yet you boasting about your football program made $60 million. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
How do you need anything when that program? So I'm pretty sure, like I said, there's other schools that's doing it, finding ways to some of the money they're generating through their athletic programs that's going to some of their collectives and just going in different directions to eventually go back to their players to continue to help them keep these high-paying jobs. Because, like I said before, and I made this analogy, with guys, and this is no offense to no other school. I'm going to use Toledo as an example. Clearly Toledo, Ohio State's on two different levels. But if Ohio State doesn't act right and get their stuff together when it comes to, I think, just the NIL world, and I think the foundation is one of the ways they can make that happen, and they want to act like the Block O is worth so much stuff and all this other stuff. Well, we all know why is it worth so much. Because of the football program. And that's no disrespect to the basketball, women's basketball, any other 36 sports. But we know what pays for those sports eventually. And if they don't get their act together in the NIL world, they're going to start seeing that, Ohio State, that worth is going to continue to go down.
Yep.
So you look up you look up in 5 to 10 years and we don't get this thing under wraps, then Ohio State would be thinking of a pass.
Cardale, one of the things that I've always found interesting about Ohio State, I've dealt with them on the media end for 25 years. They love control, whether it's control of the images. I remember they were ahead of the curve where they were telling photographers, you can't take pictures at our game and sell them. Those belong to us. And they licensed all of that stuff. It's like, to me, as a fan of the program, growing up in this state, I've loved everything about Ohio State. But it seems sometimes they try to get their fingers in every little pot that's going, I'm worried about, in talking to you, I'm worried about where this NIL thing is going, because you're right. If they don't keep up with the Alabamas and the Texas and the A&Ms and all of these other programs, it's going to turn real quick, because this is an NIL world now, and you better understand that, and you better monetize that, and you better do it quickly, because everybody else is.
Players are going to go to other places.
They are.
Come here because it's Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, look, it used to be great. Hey, let's go to Ohio
That day
State.
and age is gone. Yeah, that day and age of players like me and Tyvus is gone, that grew up loving Ohio State. Don't get me wrong. You know, guys, I've been on some of these calls with some of these recruits in the NIL world, just educating them about the foundation, some of the things we do for the current players on roster now and stuff like that. And I cannot tell you how many calls I had with families that's like, listen, we ain't got no allegiance to nobody. We going where the money is.
We're going
And I'm like
where
this. I respect your decision. I respect your decision.
Yeah. I mean,
Because
listen.
it's no, like the day and age of me going on a recruiting trip to these facilities, and oh my God, they got 3 hot tubs, they got 4 PlayStation 3s, they got all this, they got that, they got a basketball court in here. I'm coming here because of that. That stuff is gone. They like, oh yeah, y'all got hot tubs in here? I need to go somewhere where I can get me a hot tub in my dorm.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So they like, where that money? I want to buy me a hot tub. How about buy me one? You know,
Although Josh Rosen had a hot tub in his dorm, it didn't go well for him. But anyway, hey, Cardale, one last thing on playing again. You mentioned the Arena Football League's coming back. There was a team in Cleveland. I don't know if there's going to be. They say they're having 16 teams. I hope we get a team back in Cleveland in the Arena League. How cool would it be for you to be able to play for, if we do have a Cleveland Arena team, to play quarterback for them?
You know what? I think when it comes to playing professional sports, I think, you know, it's always a great feeling if you're able to play for a hometown, if you're playing basketball, football, whatever it may be. And I was able to do that with Ohio State. That was great. So the love and support that you get as a hometown kid in whatever profession or whatever, sports you're playing is always a little different than playing in another city. Yes. Granted, I'm looking forward to playing in Boston. Never really had an opportunity to explore Massachusetts, and really, I know they're a great sports town with, the Celtics, you got the Patriots, you got the Red Sox, and some of the things they did on the college level as well. But I think it'd be a different vibe if I was able to play for a hometown team.
Yeah, for sure. 2 questions real quick.
Yeah.
Your first impression when you met Tyvus for the first time. Like, what were you thinking? And you can also say, no filter here.
Tell him where it was at.
Give us the story.
It was in competition. Tell him it was in
Like,
competition. What I do to you.
Oklahoma drill, you guys match it up?
Did we do the circle drill before?
Yeah, you dogged me. We ain't even gonna talk about that. He's 60 pounds more than me.
No, I don't want to hear that. I hammer so many people, I get it mixed up. You know what I'm saying? I get it mixed up. It's all a blur, Tyvus.
Tell them about the high school 707 at the Browns facility. What happened?
Oh, wow. So I threw a pass to a all-pro special teamers, Justin Hardy, baby.
Yeah, that's right.
With a New York Jets, Cleveland native,
what happened,
Illinois
though?
alum.
You threw it to what
Justin
happened?
was in his young stage of his high school career. I was a senior. I threw him a slant. It bounced off his chest. Tyvus picked it off for the game, right? Did you steal the game with that?
Steal game?
Right?
I've been doing this since '94.
The game with
Well, it went off the receiver's chest. For crying
what
out
that
loud.
mean? I call game.
If Justin would have caught this ball and would have scored. No one's going to catch it.
Just like true or false, you
If
got
was
lucky.
a fifth, we'd be drunk. What happened? Talk about the spring game.
I agree.
What happened in the
he
spring
did
game?
that. So Tyvus, everything you did. What about when I buried you in a circle drill? What about that?
What you talking about?
What about when we played?
Wait a minute.
What about
you
when
talking
we was
about
moving?
practice stuff. You talking about stuff in practice. I'm talking
Spring
about
games
the
of
game.
practice. Ain't I
said
smacked
spring
you?
game.
I smacked you on the
Spring
sideline.
game is a game. It was 100,000
practice.
people there.
I smacked you on the sideline. How about that? I didn't care. I tackled you on the
out of
sideline and
bounds.
laid you out.
I was out of
I don't
bounds.
care.
The only one
I
give you this one. In the pros, in the preseason, or you launched that ball out the stadium, I give you that one. You did your thing. That one.
Right in front of Tyvus' face. We scored. It was a preseason game. We scored. I didn't score. I think I think our running back scored, and he tried to spike the ball, and I hurried up and grabbed it from him, and I threw the ball out the stadium in front of Tyvis.
did.
Tyvis was like, "Oh man, blah 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 blah."
It was
And
disrespectful.
no, the most competitive time me and Tyvis ever been across from each other, actually, guys, and you guys are not going to believe this, actually came on a basketball court. We was playing one-on-one. We played one-on-one, and when we was moving off campus, who's going to get the bigger room? And I bust his.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I let him have it.
Wait a minute.
I let him have
I
it.
knew it. That's not true. That's
Listen,
not. So let's
That look,
tell
hey
the full
guys,
story.
that look LeBron
I
James had back in the day, Game 6 with the Heat, that was me.
Wait a
Let
minute.
him
First
have
of all,
it.
that's not what happened. We played.
What?
I think he won one. I won the next one. But the next one was supposed to be it. We was like, we're going to play because it was a fluke. We're going to play. This is it.
Right.
I won. He got mad and said,
Oh my God.
It's 1-1. That's what you said. It's 1-1. We got to play for it all. We played for it all after that, after I already won.
Cardale, he's misremembering this, isn't
Wait
he?
a second.
He won
2 out of 3.
He
Selective
sure
memory.
did. He blew me out that last
Selective
game. I couldn't do
memory.
nothing with him.
He had Tyvis. I'm pretty sure you guys know, just like in the beginning of the show when he's talking about he won and it's not tied up. Tyvis have selective memory,
Yeah,
so he remember what's
Cardale,
benefits
so the
him.
series wasn't
All I
2-1.
remember-
The series wasn't 2-1.
All I remember is light.
Tyvis, he
I
telling you
won.
you
I
got
don't care what the
CTE, bro.
series
You
was.
messing around in this
See,
thing.
he know this series was 2-1. I admit it. We played one final
the
game and he
James Harrison
won.
hit you?
Oh,
He
my
won like
God.
10-0. It was unbelievable. I couldn't stop him.
McNuggets.
The James Harrison hit you.
Next question.
Cardale, if you need any Boston Rex, I went to school up there. I'll get you some good food spots. Last one before we let you go. I was down at your softball game. We all watched Tyvis
Ground out.
attempt to play softball.
Would
Would you care to comment on how Tyvis was the single worst Buckeye at that event? and his swing
Bobby
in
Carpenter
general?
was.
Bobby Carpenter was?
Yeah, actually, you know what? Bobby Carpenter was
Well-
worse. How Tyvis was the second worst at the event.
Okay, so I don't think Tyvis actually can play a little. This year I'm excited. I mean, last 2 years, Tyvis, you've been on a losing team.
No.
But his
because
first year, he crushed us.
Yeah, I'm about to say the first year we won. I didn't play the second year, and then the last year we lost.
Yeah, Tyvis choked the lead away.
So, yeah, exactly. But he already told me he's going to be in the batting cage. This year's a big year because we're doing former players versus current players, and we all know we can never really solve that.
Oh, we lost Cardale
The
again.
players as far as teams and stuff like that. But we don't have a chance to solve it on the softball field. So we're excited about it.
Well, that's awesome.
Thanks,
Cardale,
Cardale,
thanks so
man.
much
You
for
were
coming
awesome.
on. In case you didn't know, if Tyvis had decided to go the Major League Baseball route or the NBA route, he would have been the first overall pick in both drafts. Just ask him.
But except for
Yeah,
golf.
of course.
Golf, he would not have been first.
Why am I not surprised? Yeah,
It's the truth. If I would have dedicated myself, I'd be that guy. I'm just saying.
Lacrosse.
Yeah, Bull's right.
Yep.
Ballet.
Google Tyvis Powell golf swing. That's all, and that's how we'll end it. Cardale, man, thanks,
Yeah,
brother.
exactly.
Thanks for all the great memories at Ohio State. You gave us one hell of a ride, bro.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys. Have a good one.